When Tokyo police interrogated 4 teenagers in March 1989, they expected answers about a local kidnapping case. What they uncovered instead was a far darker story. One that would expose unspeakable cruelty, rock Japan to its core, and haunt the world for decades to come. This is the true story of Junko Furuta, a 17-year-old girl who endured 44 days of torture, only to be discarded like she was nothing. March 29, 1989, Tokyo, Japan. Police were questioning 4 boys about a kidnapping. During the interrogation, one of them broke down. He confessed to a murder. But the girl he described wasn't related to the case at hand, so investigators separated the boys and were stunned when each gave the same chilling account. They had killed a girl, stuffed her body inside a 55-gallon drum, filled it with concrete, then dumped it at a construction site in Wakasu, Tokyo. Police rushed to the site. There, they found the drum. Inside was the decomposed body of a teenage girl. She had been tortured beyond imagination. Junko Furuta was just 17, a student at Yashio Minami High School in Saitama Prefecture. Smart, kind, and well-liked, she was saving for her graduation trip and held a part-time job at a plastic molding factory. She had no criminal ties, no known enemies. But in late 1988, her path crossed with someone dangerous. 18-year-old Hiroshi Miyano, a known school bully with Yakuza connections. When Junko politely rejected Hiroshi's romantic advances, he decided to get revenge. On November 25, 1988, Junko was riding her bike home from work when she was ambushed by Miyano and his friend Shinji Minato. They staged a scenario where Junko's bicycle was knocked over. Miyano pretended to help and offered to walk her home. But instead, he took her to a hotel where he threatened her, using his ties to gang members to instill fear. That night, he assaulted Junko. Miyano then contacted his 3 friends, Minato, Joe Ogura, and Yasushi Watanabe, and together they made a chilling decision. They would not let her go, fearing she would go to the police. They brought her to Minato's home, where she would remain captive for over 6 weeks. From November 25, 1988 to January 4, 1989, Junko Furuta was held captive in Minato's home. Despite signs that something was wrong, the household, including Minato's parents, did not intervene, possibly out of fear of their son's associations with the Yakuza. During this time, Junko endured ongoing physical, psychological, and sexual abuse by the 4 boys, and reportedly by over 100 others they invited to the home. She was denied access to basic hygiene, nourishment, and medical care. As time went on, her health declined rapidly due to repeated assaults, untreated injuries, and prolonged trauma. Her condition became so severe that she was reportedly unable to move on her own or speak clearly. Despite this, the abuse continued. Three days after she went missing, Junko's parents filed a missing person report. Somehow, the boys learned of it and forced Junko to call her family, claiming she had run away and was staying with a friend. Heartbroken but misled, her parents withdrew the report, believing she had left voluntarily. The police didn't follow up. Junko was still alive, held just miles from her home, waiting for someone to save her. By early January, Junko's body was failing. Her injuries were infected. Her Her internal organs were shutting down, but the abuse continued. On January 4th, 1989, after losing money gambling, Hiroshi took his rage out on Junko. He beat her until she could no longer speak. Later that night, she died, alone, in pain, after 44 days of unimaginable suffering. To hide the murder, the boys placed her body in a 55-gallon drum, filled it with concrete, and dumped it in Wakasu the next day. When the truth finally came out, Japan was horrified. But justice? It never came. Despite the brutality of the crime, all 4 boys were tried as juveniles, which meant significantly lighter sentencing because they were under 20 years old. Hiroshi Miyano received 20 years. The others, Joe Ogura, Shinji Minato, and Yasushi Watanabe, served between 5 and 10 years.
懲役20年。わいせつ誘拐、略取、監禁、強姦、殺人、死体遺棄、傷害、窃盗。共犯の彼は懲役5年以上10年以下。監禁の家の少年は懲役5年以上9年以下。もう一人の共犯の少年は懲役5年以上7年以下。
Junko's family was awarded damages through civil court, but no punishment could ever reflect the suffering their daughter endured. To add insult to injury, several of the convicted later re-offended, including Miyano and Ogura, further fueling public outrage. Junko Furuta was just 17, a girl with dreams, to graduate, to see the world, to simply live. But instead, she became a tragic symbol of how justice can fail the innocent, again and again.
こんな形で再会するとは夢にも思っていませんでした。痛かったでしょうね。苦しかったでしょうね。いつもおおらかで明るい純ちゃん。文化祭の時、みんなでお揃いで作った赤いハッピー。とっても似合っていましたね。
Her story is one of the most heartbreaking cases in criminal history, not just for the crime itself, but for how little justice followed. Let us remember Junko Furuta not for how she died, but for the strength she showed in her final moments.